Hi, Steph Lewandowski.
Hi.
And you have set up BCCDIY.
BCCDIY.com.
Which is?
It's a collaborative project to rebuild the City Council website for the City of Birmingham. And came up with the idea out of the investigation that happened on helpmeinvestigate.com, which was looking at when can we expect a City Council website to appear and how much will it cost. And when the story broke, it turned out to be significantly more expensive than many of us were expecting. So we decided to build our own version to kind of explore what would be possible as a kind of community-generated version using freely available tools and software, particularly open source tools and software, and connecting with services that you can kind of mash together to provide additional tools that the existing site wasn't providing.
Right. And how do you think you're talking about this possibly being scalable?
Yeah. How
do you see that working? Because at the moment, I believe it's scraping data from the City Council website.
Yeah, where the site works at the moment is that it's like a wiki. We've built our own piece of software that basically visits the City Council site on a regular basis, pulls down any new content into its own database, and then we can rewrite on top of that whilst keeping the original content in our database. So the idea is that we as a community can improve on and correct the information that's on there and make it more relevant and make it easier to read and to navigate. And what's good about that is that it means that anyone can collaborate on the project, because the editing tools on the site are basically a login and then a box that you type into with a very simple way of marking up the text. And so we've had people collaborating on the project who don't really have the web skills of, say, a programmer or a graphic designer. In fact, if you look at the type of people who are involved, it's mostly on the side of the people who are writing text and looking at the way the thing works than actually sitting down and doing the hard coding.
So the site we've got now, the BCCDIY package almost, is something that someone else could replicate. It doesn't have to be scraping stuff from another council website. You can take the data out and put what you'd like into it. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm hoping it will work on kind of two levels. We've released this source code as open source, so you can download it. There's a link on the BCCDIY site. At the moment, it's very specifically written for the Birmingham website. There's bits in there that just deal with the idiosyncrasies of particular pages and structure they have there. What I'm hoping is that we'll be able to generalise the system. It's only 2 weeks old at the moment.
Yeah, right.
We'll be able to generalise the system, and then anyone will be able to take it and apply it to their own local council websites. So you could make your own kind of uncouncil site, and you wouldn't actually have to base it on that scraping methodology. The stuff we've done on top of that is actually proving to be more useful, particularly the postcode search. We've kind of flipped the user experience around, so rather than you visiting the site and it being all about looking at the structure of the council and having to delve down several levels to find the thing you're looking for, we've actually turned it around so you type in your postcode, it personalises the site to you and gives you your councillors, your MP, it puts stuff on the map in your local area where you can search on a map saying, I want to look for the libraries, and it maps them for you around you. Not all the libraries in your city, just the ones that are closest to you. And then a bunch of other services that we're pulling in and finding over time. And we're also looking for people to help us in that part of the work by just finding gadgets and tools that we can just go, here's a postcode, give us something useful back. And so if anyone's got any data like that or any tools like that, please suggest them and we'll just add them onto those pages.
That's brilliant. This is a little bit of an unfair question because it hasn't really been thought about. But do you think there is scope for somehow bringing in expertise from local communities or people who are not necessarily engaged anyway? I mean, I think they talk about local conference, which is happening tomorrow. They're talking about hyper-local blogging. Mm-hmm. Is there a place for that within the BCCDIY site?
I really think there is. I think one of the strong things around this is that there's a sense of ownership over the content and over the site and the system that you don't get when you go to a city council's site.
Right.
And because of that, we're able to do whatever we like on those pages, which is quite refreshing, really. So if this thing works, then the idea would be that when you come back to the website after having put in your postcode, it personalises the homepage immediately for you, and that personalisation could include pulling in local blogs that maybe we could be using. There's a post rank algorithm that's quite useful. So we could be using an aggregation service to pull in various feeds from various places, and then floating the stuff that's active to the top. PostRank's really great at that. It basically looks at how hot something is, how many comments something has got, and it floats it to the top. So we could be becoming a bit of a kind of local aggregator of content, and then driving the improvements to other parts of the service, because people feel that the site is their own, so we'll get suggestions for improvements and additions.
So one last question then would be that this could become something bigger than just a local authority site. We could have information that is about maybe postal services and things which aren't necessarily council jurisdiction.
I think so. I think what was interesting when we were scoping out the website is we were looking at the existing structure of the site and what it did, mapped out the key things we as users were interested in, like paying our council tax. But actually there's not much innovation you can do on that, because there's legal issues that get in the way. You can't actually do anything with those systems. And where all the conversation went was on the idea of near me. And if you look at the photographs, most of them are online on Flickr with BCCDIY tag. But the board for near me was really, really quite large, and actually one of the jobs...
Board of post-it notes.
Board of post-it notes,
yeah.
And one of the people who came down for the day basically just started taking some of the post-it notes and putting them in the out-of-scope board.
Right.
And the out-of-scope board started getting pretty big as well. And that made me think, well, maybe people do want somewhere where they can go and get all this information, and yes, it might be out of scope for a council site, but does that mean it's out of scope for
a community
us? For community sites, it could be quite different. So, I mean, I don't want us to be competing or, stepping on the toes of other systems. Like, I think there's About My Area, which has got an approach where they basically have every postcode area has got a kind of hyper-local news community site with advertising. I'm not really sure we want to be going down that route. We're more in the kind of hyper-local services, I guess, is what we're doing there, where you go to a page, you go to the site, and you can do things as well as finding out about what's going on. So I could see the two working quite well together with blogs and other local services.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And good luck with it.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to collaborate with us, even if you're not based in Birmingham, we'd really appreciate it.
It's bccdiy.com.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, sir.